Hi there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Ashley Baylor with a check of your latest forecast. So as we go through the overnight hours, well, mainly clear skies. A little bit of patchy fog could develop by morning, but that would most likely be farther inland. Of course, it remains muggy. Temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. And then tomorrow, basically a rinse and repeat forecast of what we experienced on Sunday. Scattered clouds, warm and humid, highs around 83. So that's about 10 degrees above average for this time of year. But our main focus is going to be on Tropical Storm Michael, which will eventually become Hurricane Michael over the next 24 hours or so. So here's a look at Tropical Storm Michael for now. Winds are sustained at 60 miles per hour, and it is continuing on a northerly track right into the Gulf of Mexico. But here you can see heading into tomorrow evening, it will likely strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane with winds picking up to about 75 miles per hour. Now, as it moves through the Gulf of Mexico, keep in mind it is bathwater down there, so this storm will likely feed off of that very warm water and then has the potential to make landfall somewhere along the Florida Panhandle as we go into Wednesday afternoon as Category 2 hurricane. And then, of course, once it moves on land, it will likely start to weaken. Now, what's interesting is the National Hurricane Center does have Michael maintaining hurricane strength as it crosses through Georgia and South Carolina and then eventually weaken down to a tropical storm by the time it hits North Carolina. I do think that's a little bit questionable at this point. Yes, this is possible, but lately when it's come to storms moving on land, they tend to lose a lot of energy very quickly. So I do wonder if this could even maintain tropical storm strength by the time it reaches our neck of the woods. It could be a tropical storm or it could be a subtropical storm. So a lot to work with over the next couple of days as far as intensity goes by the time that Michael makes it to our region. So that's obviously going to affect the impact that we will have here. As we take a look at our spaghetti models, you can see a lot of them do maintain quite a bit of consistency with bringing this towards the Florida Panhandle and then eventually curving over the southeastern part of the U.S., anywhere between Washington, D.C. and the Outer Banks. So as I was saying during Florence, as I will say during this storm, the more consistency we see, the more it does build confidence in the forecast. But let's take a look at our two main computer models that we talk about most often, the American, otherwise known as the GFS, and the European model. Now, we do have the American model in the pink here, and we have the European model in white. And as you can see, the timing is quite off on these two forecast models here. Now, the track is actually pretty on point, but it's just the timing that is off. You can see by the time we get to Wednesday afternoon, the American model does have Michael making landfall, whereas the European model still out in the Gulf of Mexico. Then as we go towards Thursday evening, look at this. The American model does have Michael right over Hampton Roads in northeast North Carolina, whereas the European model is still in northern Florida. So again, even though the tracks are very, very similar here, the timing is very different. So that's why I do have rain for both Thursday and Friday. It's really dependent on which forecast model is going to be a little more correct here. But we're just going to be watching Michael over the next week. Of course, we'll have an update for you with meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler in the morning.